You know, what if I told you that some of the most practical, down-to-earth advice for navigating life right now, today, comes from this ancient collection of wisdom poetry? We're talking about the book of Proverbs, and it paints this incredible picture of life, not as some random series of events, but as a journey with two very, very different paths. And boom, this one line just gets right to the heart of it all. Proverbs tells us from the get-go, the stakes are incredibly high. The choices we make, the paths we decide to walk down, they have real, ultimate consequences. What looks good, what feels right, what's popular in the moment, well, that could be a direct highway to disaster. So here's our game plan. First, we'll look at what this ancient guide is all about. Then we'll tune into the call of wisdom, and right after that, we'll uncover the dangers of its opposite, folly. Then we'll get super practical and see how this all applies to our daily lives. And finally, we'll zero in on the single biggest takeaway from the whole book. Okay, so let's start with the basics. The book of Proverbs, much of it is credited to King Solomon, a guy famous for his wisdom. But this isn't some dusty, abstract philosophy book. No way. It was designed to be a practical manual, almost like a training guide for young people on how to live life skillfully and with integrity in the real world. Now, we've got to get clear on what the book means by wisdom, because that's probably not what you're thinking. It's not about having a high IQ or winning a trivia night. The original Hebrew word, chokmah, it's more about skill or applied knowledge. Think of a master craftsman, someone who can take raw materials, in this case the raw material of life, and shape it into something beautiful and lasting. That's chokmah. That's wisdom. And right here, this is the foundation for everything else. The starting point for gaining that skill, according to Proverbs, is the fear of the Lord. And that just means having a deep respect, a sense of awe for God and for a moral order that's bigger than just ourselves. This one verse sets up the central conflict of the entire book, the wise person who gets this and the fool who just brushes it all off and thinks they know better. To make this choice between two paths really vivid, the book actually turns them into characters. First up, we meet Lady Wisdom. And get this, she isn't hiding away in some secret library or an exclusive club. She's pictured as this noble, powerful woman out in public calling out to literally everyone to come and follow her way. And just look at where she's making her appeal, in the streets, at the main intersection, by the city gates. These were the equivalent of Times Square back then, the busiest, most public places you could find. The message is just crystal clear. Wisdom isn't some secret for the elite. It's out there for anyone and everyone who's willing to just stop and listen. So why should we listen? What's the big deal? Well, according to the book, the value of this wisdom is just off the charts. It says it's worth more than precious jewels, more than anything else you could possibly want. Why? Because it's the one thing that leads to a truly good life. It's the ultimate treasure. And the rewards for walking this path, they're laid out so clearly. You find life, not just existence, but true life. You get honor and lasting riches, not the kind that disappear overnight. Your journey is marked by pleasantness and peace. And you get to live with this deep sense of security, free from crippling fear. I mean, that's a pretty compelling offer, right? But Lady Wisdom has a competitor. There's another voice calling out. We're introduced to her opposite, Dame Folly. She's often portrayed as a strange woman, an adulteress. She represents that other path, the one that looks so appealing at first, but is a dead end. And the contrast between these two is just night and day. Lady Wisdom is out in the open, in the public square. Dame Folly? She's lurking in the dark corners. Wisdom makes a clear public appeal. Folly uses secretive flattery and seduction. Wisdom promises life and security. Folly just whispers about the cheap thrill of the forbidden, saying stolen waters are sweet. In the end, Wisdom's path leads to a well-built home, while Folly's path is a direct route to the grave. The book gives us this incredibly vivid story to drive the point home. It's about a young man, naive, lacking judgment, just wandering through the streets as it's getting dark. He's in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he's about to face a choice that will change everything. And here it is, the moment of temptation. Notice the weapon Folly uses. It's not a knife, it's not a threat, it's words. It's her fair speech and her flattering lips that just wear him down. The appeal is smooth, it's persuasive, and it's aimed right at his ego. And he caves. And here's the brutal, tragic result. He follows her, completely clueless, like an ox being led to the slaughterhouse. He has no idea that this one, seemingly small decision is going to cost him his life. The path of folly, it's deceptive, it's seductive, and in the end, it's fatal. Okay, so we've got this big, sweeping metaphor of two paths, Lady Wisdom and Dame Folly. But Proverbs is also intensely practical. So how does this major life choice actually play out in our day-to-day grind? Let's get into some specific examples. Let's start with our work ethic. The book uses this amazing, simple image. Feeling lazy? Don't feel like getting things done? Go watch an ant. Seriously. It just works diligently without anyone having to tell it what to do, always preparing for the future. And the contrast here could not be more stark. The diligent person works when it's time to work, and they end up prosperous. The sluggard, on the other hand, just makes excuses. They'll literally say, "Oh, I can't go outside, there's a lion in the street." And their laziness leads directly to poverty. It's a straight line from your work ethic to your outcome. Proverbs is also just full of what sounds like shockingly modern financial advice. It warns you against co-signing a loan for someone else, saying you're gonna get burned. It warns against get-rich-quick schemes, telling you to build wealth slowly and steadily. It demands total honesty in your business deals. And then it flips the script and says that generosity isn't a loss. It's actually a key to financial security. Now let's talk about our words. This one proverb holds a universe of wisdom on how to handle conflict. A gentle response can totally de-escalate a tense moment. But harsh words? That's like pouring gasoline on a fire. The power to create peace or to start a war is sitting right there on our tongue. And this brings it right into our world, doesn't it? Just pause and think about it for a second. What would social media look like? What would the comments section look like? What would our political debates look like if we all just took this one piece of 3,000-year-old advice to heart? It's a huge challenge for us today. So, after all these specific examples, work, money, relationships, how we talk to each other, what is the book's final central message? What is the one thing we absolutely positively cannot afford to miss? Here it is. This is the main point. It's an urgent command. Make the pursuit of wisdom your #1 priority. More than money, more than a career, more than fame. Pursue the skill of living well. That, Proverbs says, is the principal thing. It's the most important thing. And how do we do that? By guarding our inner world. This final piece of advice gets right to the source of it all. Your heart, which means your thoughts, your character, your core values. It's the spring from which your entire life flows. If that spring is polluted, your life will be polluted. If it's clean, your life will be clean. Taking care of your inner world is the key to everything else. So that leaves us with a final question to really think about. With all this ancient advice about our work, our words, our integrity, the state of our own hearts, which one of these ideas do we, you and I, need to hear the most right now, today?